Hello, friends, neighbors. John, your Whiskey neighbor here. Welcome down the Nook. Welcome to a peated whiskey expression today. And when I was looking to compare, I really wanted to talk about this Meikle Tòir. This is, Billy Walker came out last year. It's the GlenAllachie distillery, and they have a beautiful lineup. The one that everyone chases is the annual turbo release, but this is, the original 5-year peated single malt, Meikle Tòir. And I've been wanting to get into it, and I didn't have anything to shoot against it. And I thought, why am I working so hard at it? Let's just enjoy some peated Scotch. And then I came across the idea, well, why don't I, this is a big house, Lagavulin. And it's even bigger. If you look at the label, this is oh, wait a second, this is a commercial thing. They hooked up Game of Thrones. People are looking to buy stuff. And so this is really big house Diageo. And then we've got Billy Walker's no small fish. I can't really say craft, but certainly smaller. And the presentation is very much craft. Lots of information. Go to the website, ppms, non-chill, what's the casking. And here, well, we know it's 46%. So we've got Islay, Big House, Lagavulin, and we've got Meikle Tòir. This is their first peated range. It came out last year, as I said. Which one is going to be my favorite? Sure, I'll tell you that. But really, I think what would be nicer is to kind of compare this more craft and this bigger house. Are these good scotches? Throw down some comments, pour something peated. Let's get into it. 3, 4. This Meikle Tòir original is really the core of what I want to get into, because I haven't talked to you about their range at all. And then, I want to compare and contrast with Lagavulin Big House. These are young scotches. This one, 5-year-old. But they told us that. Thank you. Right on the label. It also tells us that we've got ex-bourbon cask, we've got rye cask, we've got new oak. I like, Billy Walker throws a lot of new oak around with scotch, and I like a little bit of it. I do. It does change its flavors. It's not North American single malts where it exists in new oak, but I like a little bit of that. This is clearly non-color, non-chill fill, chill filtered. It's that natural presentation. Really, really good. You go to their website, it says this is 35 parts per million, so that's good to give it kind of a peat rating. That's fairly full peat. Sure, in Islay, I'm imagining, I don't know, but imagining this is probably pushing it more like a 45, but 35 is full peat. So let's compare the noses between these two, or let's just get into a little bit of nosing. This really is about the peat. It's on the nose. We got smoke, we got ash, we got earth, I said in a quick short, I do get some nuts and nut huskiness, a little bit more bitter though, a little bit more walnut, hazelnut. Not that sweet, sweet almond, but there is some sweet caramel, some sweeter vanillas. Maybe a little bit of barbecue sauce sweet meats, but it's that sauce that gives that really honey sweetness. Honey. I'm getting a bit of honey. Okay, I'm going to do these side by side instead of totally one and then the other. So this one is Lagavulin, and it really needs no introduction if you drink scotch at all. Lagavulin is on most of our shelves, and I will say Lagavulin 16 is a darling memory for me. I know it's a bit more expensive now, and it's hard to pay that, but for a long time, a 16-year-old scotch with lovely peat for a good value, for a long time. Now it's just not as good a value. I still like it though. This is their 9-year. It was a Game of Thrones release when all the buzz was going. It's House Lannister? Yeah, House Lannister. And I actually haven't had it, but it's been in this bottle for a while. James gave it to me. James dropped both of these off, but it's been sitting on my shelf for a long time. It's a 46%er. I'm quite confident it's only ex-bourbon. Well, we'll see. Let's see if I get any sherry notes, because it certainly has sherry in the house. But let's try it. So, maybe a little bit more medicinal notes. Yeah, but coming back, wow. This is lighter, sweeter. I could go sweet almonds. I could go a little more smoke, a little more sea iodine. I'm surprised, really surprised at how much sweeter that is. And how much earthier. There's just more body in this nose. There's nothing wrong with this. I'm also going to say I've got a little bit more fresh lemon, a little bit more fresh citrus, a little bit lighter smokiness. I expected this to be heavier, a little bit more sourness. Like that's why I'm getting that lemon. Oh, wow. Interesting comparison. I am getting a little bit more fruit, a little more cut apple in this one. Okay, so for noses, I will say I like them both. I would not turn away either of these poured at any evening with me. This I expected it, like it's not red fruit, so I'm gonna stay with what I think is ex-bourbon. But this, you know, when we talk, you know, new oak and rye cask and ex-bourbon, it's not sherry either. So it's interesting how similar they are, but this has more roundness, more nuts. And I don't mean round like soft. I just mean there's just different layers that are going in and out. So if it's a preference thing, I'm giving the nod to this one. These are just fundamentally different, although I'm kind of set them up as like really tiny craft versus big bad Diageo, and I get the setup. But I will say, you know, I don't think GlenAllachie and Billy Walker are small fish. I think they have a lot of good, strong investors. They work hard at their products. Lately, I've been feeling like Billy Walker's really working at his casking. And Game of Thrones is a huge money-making video machine. And Lagavulin is a long running distillery. But I think they have a lot of class too, Lagavulin, and I actually really enjoy their matchup. Oh no, I'm thinking of the actor from Parks. What's his name? Nick Offerman. You know, all of his shorts and his work with Lagavulin are just like awesome. I even like the releases that they put out together. Like I think, you know, he's been throwing some new oak around in there, like just a ton of fun. So that's another approach to selling Scotch or promoting whiskey. But I don't have bad feelings. But it's definitely a different approach with a lot more transparency, cask work, and not a lot of transparency. And I really think these Lagavulin should turn the corner and give us more of that. Let's get into some tasting notes. So this is Meikle Tòir. This is the original, as I said, you know, rye bourbon new oak on the palate. Sancha. That's a tasty Scotch. It is full and peaty. It is nut husk. It is a little bit briny, a little bit seaweedy, a little bit salty. A tiny bit of sweet smoked meats on the nose. That was tiny. I'm getting more in the palate. I'm really getting into that long smoked stuff that my friends do that I don't have a talent for or equipment for. Some nice juiciness. Well, okay, I said juiciness. I'm gonna back off. Nice sweetness, because it's actually pretty dry for me. It's like when I say nuts and I said husk, like it's husky, not husky drying, and definitely peat campfire. There's no holding this back. This is not like a lightly, you know, a tiny bit of peat in a big round Speyside. Even though it's Speyside, this is earthy, smoky, salty peat. To contrast with Lagavulin, 9-year-old. So, you know, it's 4 more years in oak, but likely no new oak, right? So it needs to take longer in oak. That new oak gives you way more interaction than anything reused. I still say it's sweeter and a little bit more lemon. On the palate, Slancha. Hey, that's a good Scotch too. It definitely punched sweeter. I got way more almost confectionery sugar up front. Like sweetness, vanilla, caramel. And then it lengthened a little bit. It's far less drying. It's far less nutty. It's far less cocoa. I'm going to go back and look for that. But when I say less, that doesn't mean I don't like it. I'm going to try another quick sip. Sancha. Now I'm getting ginger. I'm getting graham cracker. I'm getting sweet malt. I'm getting sweet malt sugars, light vanillas, light fruits with a little bit of lemon. Look, this is very, very good. And I know I've been knocking at it being part of a big house, but this is a tasty Scotch at 46%. I'm really quite enjoying it. It in contrast is lighter. Not that I drink Scotch to be refreshed, but it's a little more refreshing. I'm going to come back to this to get final notes on it. Having gone both ways, I'm going to come back to this Meikle Tòir, the original. So it's a 5-year. It's not the turbo. I'll talk about that in a second. On the palate, it's youth and its ABV, I think, is helping lift its flavors. They are more vibrant. They are, even though drying, and I've been mentioning kind of savory, edge of bitter, darker, they are far more present. I started thinking that the Lagavulin was going to be giving me like 45 parts per million. It's going to be smokier, ashier. That's not the case. I know the turbo, I keep saying that, is like 70 parts per million. Like it's literally twice the phenols as this one. But this one, that is the conversation here. There is some sweet malt. There is some fruits. There's some orchard fruits. There is a broader spectrum of nuts. Oh, I was going to chase chocolate. Hang on. I don't think this is a malt that chocolate's going to be first on your list. I heard Vin talk about chocolate a while ago about this, but I do remember that. I was thinking, oh, I'm going to get that for sure. If there's chocolate in here, it's a very dark cocoa, unsweetened, bitter chocolate. I will say this is a bit more of a bitter dram, but bitter in a good way. I actually appreciate bitter when it's backed well. There is oak structure in here, and I like it. I am surprised at how much today I am enjoying this Lagavulin 9-year. I think my recommendation for any of you, if you happen to see both of these on the shelf, is still to go with this young one. This is like just so many more flavors going on. It's got lots of stuff. It's got cracked pepper now. My tongue is like, wah! But if you see this and you're wondering, well, how good was this, obviously big brand 9-year-old, and I wanted to shoot it against the 8. I just don't have the 8, and it's time to shoot it. So this was good though, and it's far sweeter, lighter, far more balanced across the palate. Like, this is absolutely a more approachable and more balanced Scotch, and I think for people that aren't pushing craft whiskey, actually there's nothing wrong with this. Get it on a good deal. I would take it home. I'm really enjoying it. This is good too and solid, and I will chase down the turbo. I don't know much about it except for that. I think it's like all new oak and then Oloroso sherry, and then it's, like I said, 70 parts per million, and it's some kind of annual release. So those stats I just said probably shift every year as opposed to this, which is core range. So what do you think? I tried to compare a more craft, a newcomer, peated Speyside versus really established Islay peat and big house commercial. They're going after Game of Thrones. I don't know if that was authentic or not, but I tried to do it, and in the end I liked them both, but for different reasons more than a favorite. Recommend this more. Nothing wrong with this though. What are your thoughts? Thanks for joining me. Sanja.